hair, blue eyes, nice skin, so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life Gorgeous podcast. My name is Craig Kilburn. This is where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. The focus groups have spoken. They love it when I have my friends on and we banter, we answer fan questions, we talk, we play the Life Gorgeous quiz. Coming back for another appearance is Julius Sharpe, a.k.a. Goldie. Goldie is a comedy writer. He works on Family Guy. He's sold sitcoms, and he has a great podcast called A Typical Disgusting Display with his friend Alex Sulkin. Ladies and gentlemen, Julius Sharpe, Goldie.
It's amazing to be back. I felt like my life was so good after the last appearance that our work was finished.
No, you're what we call a regular, but not a regular guy, a special guy. You're promoting Steph Curry. We're going to get to that in a minute. It turns out a lot of comedy writers in Hollywood are NBA fans and NFL fans, and Goldie is one of them. He's from Boston. Shh. So we're going to talk a little NBA, but first, tell us about your podcast. I noticed A Typical Disgusting Display that you're getting better guests. How did that happen?
Well, so John Mulaney, the comedian, apparently is a fan. And, when you get one of these tastemakers, you lure in a whale into the casino.
Right.
You ply them with lobster and high-end Chablis, and they go to the tables. They're in a good mood. And then people notice, hey, that rich, influential person's having a great time. That's the place to be.
That is funny.
Yeah.
You said something, you guys had Henry Winkler on, and I saw one of the clips.
Yeah.
And you were, I wouldn't say whining. You were saying he didn't care about me. He didn't want me to ask any questions, and you thought Sulkin was dominating. Is that true?
Yeah, there are certain people who they're a little bit behind the times, and they're under the impression they still have to kiss Alex's ass.
Okay.
They don't have to, but they think that they're going to get something like maybe Family Guy won't skewer me if I'm nice to this guy. And then they say, oh, and who's this bald piece of garbage who happens to be on the Zoom? I don't need to concern myself with him.
Right.
So my feeling was that Henry Winkler pegged Alec maybe wrongly as the alpha. And then figured he didn't have to deal with me or JC. And I just wanted to let the world know that I knew.
Right. That's funny. Did he warm up to you, or was it the entire time?
He never warmed up to me.
Okay.
No, the entire time.
Right. Has it changed your view of the Fonz? Like you can't watch Happy Days reruns anymore? Or maybe you stopped that anyways. I haven't watched it.
It's tough because, before bed every night, I like to unwind with a few Happy Days. you know, me and the missus,
right?
We have a milkshake with 2 straws, and we watch Happy Days. But yeah, it's tainted a little bit.
There was a time just a few years ago, as you know, I went on that Frasier kick where I watched all 11 seasons over and over again, and I had to watch 2 before I went to bed every night. I'm not there anymore. I moved on, but it's always there if I need it. And I love Frasier. I know you're not quite as enamored with it as I am. But you can understand.
True. No, well, I mean, it's, you're so into it that I can't blame that much. But I was visiting my mom recently. Yeah. And she said, hey, how about we watch a Frasier? And I tell you, the 2 of us laughed.
Right.
Mother and son.
Right. That's funny.
Sharing a bond. It was nice.
So before we get you, I see you wearing a Steph Curry jersey or hoodie. I know that you're a fan of his. We're going to get into that. But you mentioned right before we hit record that you had just watched my interview with Ryan Russillo, and you have feedback and comments and reactions. Go ahead.
Well, is having him than me too many bald guys for your listeners is my first question.
You do talk about you do talk about being bald a lot. It's kind of, I guess it's a go-to thing. Like I remember Kevin James would always talk about being chubby, and I didn't think he was that chubby, but he got so much mileage out of being a little overweight. You're definitely bald, so I guess there's nothing, but you do talk about it a lot. Is it cathartic for you? I know you wrote that book.
It's that sort of thing where I want to get to it before the other person has, because when you're bald, you live in fear that someone is just going to call you a bald fuck and you're not going to have any response.
Right.
So I like to throw it out there first so that it de-weaponizes their ability to do that to me.
I understand.
I knocked the knife off the table.
It's a preemptive strike. It's a preemptive strike by you. By the way, I think that's the first. No, it's not the first F-bomb.
I apologize.
Now, Gibby did an F-bomb, I believe. Yeah. And I guess you can have an F-bomb, on YouTube. I guess, right?
You can bleep it. You can cut it. You could.
No, I'm not going to cut it. I like to let it flow.
I'll re-record it without the F-bomb, and we can do a seamless edit.
What would you say? You just said a bald F, right? What would you say? A bald clown? What would be?
I would say.
What a bald bonehead. What a bald.
A bald nerd.
Okay.
A bald freak. But the second thing I loved about the Russillo interview, and because I'm a big fan of his and a huge fan of yours, but I do listen to his podcast. And when you asked him if he had an opinion about Trae Young, that's like going on Rush Limbaugh and saying, "Do you have any thoughts on liberals at all?"
Okay. So I quickly picked that up and I said, I don't listen to you religiously. And it's just like I mentioned Family Guy. I know it's a funny show with great jokes because I think Alec years ago, way back, I don't know how many years ago, he said, "Can you watch an episode?" And I watched it. I called him. I said, "Unreal." And I was like, the jokes that you guys do on this show and the fact that he can say, Christopher Columbus did this, and then you can show Christopher Columbus, on the ship and everything. It's the freedom you guys have. How can it be funny? No, but it's a thing that I don't watch. So he's a Trae Young. He's really down on Trae Young, is what you're saying.
He's very down on Trae Young, and he talks about it a lot. I want to circle back to the Family Guy thing for a second because you kindly mentioned it. But you said, and we've asked you to watch Family Guy. Alec may have asked you. I would never impose on you to watch anything I'm involved with. Okay,
that's fair. Now, why do you say, I like that? It's like, is that because it's like, you think it's a burden for me to do that or what?
I think it's a professional courtesy. It's like a dentist. I wouldn't start talking to you about teeth,
Right.
Like we get it. We both know teeth. Let's move on. We both know some show business. We don't have to talk about that.
Right. It's interesting because both you and Alec and maybe Gibby and other people have told me there are things out there that I know are really good that I either don't watch or I'm not interested and I should be. And the main example is both the British Office, which I know is brilliant, and the American Office. And people have sent me those to watch, and it is great. And I don't know, I'm not sure what it is, why one doesn't do that. They're not in the mood or they're in their own space. But I remember talking about Frasier to you guys maybe too much. And I said, Craig, just send him a 30-second clip that you really liked. And then I would do that. But I think
it was no Happy Days, but it was okay.
Anything else about the Russillo? Is that the only one that I didn't know the Trae Young?
No, that was basically it. I really enjoyed you getting that story out of him about not making the basketball team and then trying to take revenge on the teachers in their scrimmage.
It's you don't really recover from something like that. When he was petty, he didn't go out, and then he dominated the game, the teacher game or whatever, the faculty. I don't know what game.
I didn't realize he was 6'2". That was interesting to me too, because I've only seen his head, and I figured maybe 5'9", 5'10" at the most.
Yeah, he's and the shirt thing is real. Where he doesn't post a lot on Instagram, but he likes to go boating and likes to he lives near the beach, and he takes off his shirt and when I came down to see him at his place in Manhattan Beach, he he poked his head out the door without a shirt on. Said, just park over there. And I said, okay, but I'm not coming up until you put a shirt on. So that's kind of I guess if you were.
How long were you waiting in your car? An hour, 2 hours?
I mean, if you were built like Ryan Russillo, would you go shirtless a lot, or do you go shirtless now a lot in the summer?
I've recently taken off about 14 pounds, so I'm gaining confidence in that respect. But no, I don't like to draw attention to my body. I like to draw attention to my mind. Right.
As they look directly at your bald head. So I'm kidding. No, you know what I think is hilarious? Every time I talk to you, you're like, yeah, I just lost 10 pounds. I just lost 14 pounds. So I know you work out. I know you have a Peloton. What is it called? A Peloton? Is that what it is?
I do have a Peloton, but I actually don't really use it. I'm more into the kettlebells and,
okay. We could go on and on about. I'm glad you're in shape. I'm glad you're careful with your diet. I think we have some food questions later for you.
Oh, great.
So this is what I find fascinating. We are recording the day after. It's Thursday. It'll air next Tuesday. This is the day after the Warriors beat the Lakers up in San Francisco. It's now 3-2 Lakers. Very, tight series. We'll see how Anthony Davis is. I think he's fine. And the other night when the Lakers won, you were upset and you were texting me some things. And you're a Warriors fan for years because of Steph, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And why is it that you like Steph so much? Because he's the greatest shooter of all time?
Well, you boil it down to the shooting, which is obviously a big part of it. But to me, when I was a kid and they had these VHS cassettes and it was like Larry Legend's highlights or Magic Johnson's best. This was a pre-YouTube world.
Right.
And, you would have these clip assemblies of 20, 30 minutes of amazing highlights. Steph does that almost every game when you watch his game highlights. There's like a falling out of bounds 4-point play. There's some kind of crazy inside pass. There's a Harlem Globetrotter style dribble through the key and some sort of bloop shot. So I just think he plays the game with such joy. He plays it in a way no one's played it before. I know you don't like the long 3-pointers. You find it disrespectful of the game. And I am concerned that in the next 20 years, we're going to see someone who just shoots from half court. Like that's coming. We don't know that person yet, but someone will master just chucking it from half court, and that will be the game. And then we'll have to talk about elongating the court. But I think he brings his teammates up. He plays with joy. You never see him really bitching at the refs. And he's a little guy like me. Maybe I see a little bit of myself in him.
Right. Do you notice his turnovers, or is that something you guys overlook?
I overlook that, and I'm actually a bigger Seth Curry fan, I should note as well.
Is that true?
No.
Is that a joke? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like I know you're a Celtic guy. Who do you like more, the Celtics or the Warriors?
I'm off the Celtics.
Really?
I ditched it. Yeah.
Really?
I'm just a Warriors fan now.
So
I've done the rare thing where I've abandoned my hometown. I've turned my back on it. I've turned heel, and I've said I'm not even a fan anymore.
Well, this was the thing that made me laugh, and I do like it when there is a disdain, like for Trae Young. You have a disdain for a certain Warrior, and you were texting it the other day. And I, by the way, don't like this guy either. But go ahead, it's not Draymond. I'm going to ask you about Draymond, but tell me the guy. You like Draymond?
Oh yeah. Well, so when we say I have a disdain for him, this is a sports disdain. It's actually I have nothing against him personally. The person is Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole.
And
he's in a slump.
What is bothering me about Jordan Poole is I see a lot of the worst parts of myself in Jordan Poole. I see myself when I go into a social situation or a party, I'm out of control. And then it's not going well. So I'm doing anything to try to make it better. I'm drinking too much. I'm making an inappropriate loud joke. I'm throwing my arm around someone and laughing, and I'm braying. I'm going ha 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 to try to invite a good time in.
Right.
and then I'm taking a break on the patio by myself, but that's just making me look weird. I'm going to my car. I'm sitting there. I'm wondering what I should do. I'm wondering if people notice I'm gone. No one cares about me. Everything I do is making it worse. That's Jordan Poole right now.
Oh, that is so funny. I mean, he bothers me. Here's the difference. When he's playing well, and I watched him, regular season, saw him against the Wolves, lights it up. He bothered me then. So when he's hitting his crazy shots, because his shot selection to me is very undisciplined. When he's making his shots, do you like him then? Do you ever say, yeah, I can't believe the Warriors have another good shooter?
I did feel that way last year, although what he does is it's a Steph impression, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like going to see Gallagher 2 rather than Gallagher. Like, he might do the same jokes. He has the big couch, and then when he lifts the pillow, there's a giant coin there, and it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
But it's not the real thing.
I hope the young people remember Gallagher. That is great. I was thinking about this, that you have a very popular Twitter, correct? You have a lot of followers on Twitter.
Yeah, although, with what's happened over at Twitter, and I lost my blue check mark in the fracas over there. Right. So it's not what it was, but
how many followers do you have?
Somewhere in the vicinity of 130,000.
Okay. And I was thinking, if you were a sports guy, because you follow sports, you're a comedian who follows sports, you would be very good at hot takes. For example, like what you just did with Gallagher. And on Twitter, you do some hot takes. I don't know if you consider them hot takes, but you're opinionated.
Yeah, but I always, honestly, I censor myself a lot, because I don't know if people know I'm joking all the time, I don't care about the take. Here's the thing. If you came back and you were like, did you know Jordan Poole works with the Oakland Children's Hospital? And then I would go like, yeah, I mean, no. And I was kidding. I don't really mean, I have nothing really against him. I'm not going to carry a protest sign that he stinks. I'm just talking.
Right. Well, that's the thing. And that's why sports, I think, is safe. Unlike politics, if you dislike somebody in politics, everyone wants to argue with you. But if you hate Jordan Poole or you're bothered by Trae Young, it's like, oh, I can see that. And it's kind of comical. It's funny
Jordan Poole, it feels like you had a perfect golf foursome.
Right.
And you said, we all play at the same pace. We all like each other. We all know each other from work. So we're going to talk about work. And we're going to cut loose and then someone canceled at the last minute, and someone's like, my buddy from the bar can play with us. That's Jordan Poole. And then it's like, he only has 3 clubs. He instantly tells a joke that's way too dirty.
Oh my God.
He's wearing cutoff jean shorts, and it's like, I don't want to hang out with this person. That's when he comes in the game, it looks like.
Do you think this is too narrow for a one-man show? If you went on tour and did I Loathe Jordan Poole, and then you did, that's too narrow. You wouldn't sell a lot of tickets, right?
Well, my actual idea for a one-man show when I'm ready to leave Hollywood, I have 2 actually. One is that I want to play Jeffrey Katzenberg during the Quibi year.
Oh.
And I'm on a treadmill, and I'm holding 3 breakfast meetings, and I'm freaking out. And the second is I want to play both myself and Craig Ferguson during our brief time together when I was working for him, when he clearly loathed me.
Right. That is funny. Side note on Katzenberg.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's him. Yeah. I think he doesn't drink, but he eats out every night. Or people will say, he eats out every night. And I would see him.
Have you ever met with him?
I met, interestingly, years ago, when I was at the Super Bowl on CBS in the VIP suite, he came in and I was introduced to him. I said hi. So I just said hi, and that's it. But a couple weeks ago, it was the play-in game, Minnesota at the Lakers, a very close game. And he was there, and he looked at me. We caught each other's eyes. We just nodded at each other. Not a big deal. I think it was like I think he was just taken aback. Wow, there's Kilborn. He hasn't aged a bit. He looks the same. So I did have a weird question. You just said something about when you're on Twitter and you say, I'm kidding, you're kidding. What do you think of this? Like even yesterday, I had thanked Ryan Russillo for doing the show. I texted him. I said, great job. And I said, I'm getting bombarded with professional photographers who want to take, photograph your holiday card. And I said, parentheses, kidding. I did that to be safe because it's like that could really happen. Because you do this stuff on Instagram or the podcast, and I already get bombarded with people who want to photograph me for Instagram.
Right.
So, do you think it's lame to write kidding in parentheses, or
you want to have the relationship with the person where you don't have to do that,
right?
But if he then got back to you and said, hey, thanks, I'm all good for my holiday card, and then you had to do the kidding, that's like me not saying I'm bald first. Like,
right.
The thing is, you would hope that people know you well enough that your tone.
Yeah, but I do. It's just that I do jokes. Like I go locally on the Dan Barrero show in Minneapolis, and I tell a lot of stories, and they're all real. Except I did one, he goes, why aren't you flying out for more games? I said, I got to be honest. I fly, I have to fly commercial. I have a vintage Cessna from the 70s, and it's in the shop. It was John DeLorean's, and I'm telling this story, and then I have to tell them it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, and then they start asking, well, is that other story about the Playboy Mansion true? I go, yes, that was true. So, and the other one I did was when I was out there for the playoffs against Denver. I was there for games 3 and 4. When I landed, they said it's a whiteout. All the fans have to wear a whiteout, and the Wolves gave me something to wear. But prior to the game, I did Barrero's show, and they said, are you wearing white? I said, yeah, I'm going to wear white, but I didn't pack. I wish they would have told me earlier. I've got this great sequin white dinner jacket. I had a small roll in behind the candelabra that they cut out. And I told the story, and they thought it was true. Cause I guess it could have been true that I had a small part behind the candelabra,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I joke, but some of these things, cause it is a real thing where when I go on that show, it's like, what should I tell them? It's true or not? I don't know. Because I love embellishing, Do
you think there's a basketball player in the world who's coming out of the locker room and goes, guys, they're wearing all white.
What are we going to do?
How?
What are we going to? Oh my gosh. Let me ask you 2 more NBA questions. Because I know you're opinionated. What do you think of the Joker? Because I really enjoy watching him. Do you appreciate him, or do you have some dislike?
He's amazing. And it's, I'm a little guilty of the fact that I really hadn't seen him that much until this year because of the earlier playoff exits. And, I do have the NBA package, but I'm never saying to myself, oh, I should check in on the Denver game. It didn't occur to me. So it's amazing how just dominant he is without seeming to do like that much. Like he just seems to have this sixth sense of where everything is and where everyone is. And I will say he has a lot of disturbing bruises on his body.
Right. He does. Well, he does.
They don't all seem to be from basketball.
I know. I knew you were going there. No, but I think he does a thing with his arm. He initiates a lot of contact. He's also good. Like I saw him go up against Kat and Rudy, and they would contest his shot, and he would loft it over them and miss, and then quickly tip it in. He's so good around. He's so good with his hands and his elbows and his soft touch. And so I'm enjoying him a lot. And I know one of the assistant coaches, Ryan Saunders. So I'm pulling for Denver. It also makes the Wolves look good if they get to the finals. But I am pulling for the Lakers against your Warriors because I've always had an issue with the Warriors. I know how great they are. I do like their ball movement. I don't like their turnovers, but I don't like the ratio of 3-point shots to layups. It's just too many 3-point shots. That's my opinion.
I understand how you get there. Can I circle back to Jokic and tell a brief story? It reminds
yes,
me
you can. Yes, you
for
can.
your listeners. So, Russillo told a basketball story. I would like to tell one. So I played in a Jewish temple league in high school, which was the equivalent of JV, I would say. It was decent, not amazing.
Right.
So this is what Jokic reminds me of. So I was a sophomore. I had a good shot, not much else. I weighed about 110 pounds, but I would come in a game and hit a few shots. And it was grades 9 through 12. So the other team had this kid named Glick, who was about 6'4", and his neck was covered in hickeys.
Oh, wow.
And when I went in the game, we were playing a box and one defense. And because I was this little fast guy, they were like, you got to chase around Glick. And so I'm, 15 and he's 18 and a man with hickeys. And the whole time I was chasing him around, I was like, God, that's so cool. He has so many hickeys.
So it was a big deal back then, wasn't it?
Oh my God. Like you never see a hickey now.
I know. It's really, I think they took the term necking seriously, literally. It was about necking. And I don't even know if that word is that common. Do you think the young people know the word hickey or not?
I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard about a hickey in 25 years.
It was big in the 50s and then it still happened 30 years later. But yeah, that's funny.
I mean, there was this, I remember the first time it was in 8th grade, this girl, Deb Levy, came in with a bunch of hickeys.
Right.
And I mean, no one was more of a gossipy B word than me. And I was like, do you see Deb Levy's hickeys?
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to explain it. Even the people listening, young people, look it up. I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah. I almost should get my wife to give me some if I ever go to work again.
Yeah. I mean, you could, I think I've never had one in my life.
I don't know that no one's like in line to give me a hickey, but.
Right. So quickly, LeBron, any thoughts on LeBron? I've known you for years. I don't know. I think you appreciate LeBron, don't you?
I appreciate LeBron. He clearly was going bald and did something which lessens him in my eyes. Because he couldn't hack it. He couldn't hack my life.
Right.
But he's this big, tough guy that we all need to admire. I do admire it. I never found him quite as exciting as I found this other tier of players like Magic, Michael, Larry. He just was a little bit less to me with what he did. And perhaps it's because I don't have a problem with it, but I don't root for someone who's called the king in high school and drives an orange Humvee and has their path clear ahead of them. And then they achieve everything that we said would happen. I like the whiff of an underdog like Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or Steph Curry, that there was some opposition to it, as opposed to just a life of unbridled dominance and good things. That bothers me.
Does it ever bother you that he's probably the second greatest player of all time after Michael Jordan, and he doesn't tuck his elbow on his jump shot?
That's a great observation.
I wish he had a prettier jump shot. I wish he had better form. I wish he made over 85% of his free throws. Okay. But I think he's wonderful.
I'm so high on Magic Johnson, and I kind of put him under Magic Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Can I say that?
Well, I'll tell you what's weird is, fans, they have Laker fans. Some of them thought Kobe, God bless him, was better than Magic. And I was like, Magic's the greatest Laker of all time, and Kareem is right there. It's just, fans, they like certain things. They like the killer instinct of people and the competitiveness and all that kind of stuff. But I thought Magic, I have him way up there, and I loved his passing, and he made all the right plays, and he dominated games, controlled the tempo and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we're going to move because we got a lot of things to cover. The quick NFL thing, because we're talking about talent. I don't know if I've asked you this. I do like that you're opinionated. You have strong feelings. Aaron Rodgers, what are your thoughts on him?
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
You mean your answer or him at the Jets?
Both. Well, so you take this guy, no one likes him.
I like him. I don't care about his flakiness. I love watching him throw the ball and on the move and flick his wrist. I love his throwing motion. He's extremely talented.
I don't mean he doesn't have fans. I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, no one on his teams likes him.
Because he's standoffish or aloof or in his
First of
own
all,
world.
he comes into camp every year. He looks like he was shipwrecked. There's something wrong with him. His hair's all screwed up and his face is all wrinkly. He looks like he just landed on shore of, the Cayman Islands and was at sea for 6 months. And then he can only, this whole thing of guys who can only throw to certain guys. It's like, you're not marrying the guy. Here's a million fast people who can run a backwards L on a field. Like, how hard can it be where you get so hung up that you go, no, but that's not Randall Cobb. I can't do it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then you're angry at everyone because you're like, they don't understand the timing. It's like, okay, can't you work out the timing in like 10 minutes, one day? Like, how hard is it? It can't be that hard. They all run the same speed. They all run the same stupid routes. And you go like, I can't throw to him. That's super annoying.
So maybe the one-man show is also Jordan Poole and Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you get 15 minutes on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The Jets, this is the perfect Jets move because they get him just too late.
Yep.
And no one's ever going to be a good QB for the Jets. It's impossible.
That there is a belief that that organization, for whatever reason, is a little snake bit with the QBs. Switching subjects. So sometimes, even though I live above the fray, I talk about my pet peeves with my friends because it's entertaining and I'm not really complaining, but I have to do it just because it's fun and I know you're opinionated and I like that. So I guess the first thing is pet peeves. I don't participate in arguments because everyone gets excited when they score points and blah blah blah. But do you in general with your friends? Do you enjoy arguing and do you have a technique?
I do enjoy arguing because it allows me to take some of the rage from other areas of my life that has no outlet and dump it on an unsuspecting person for a totally different reason.
Unsuspecting person. They don't know what hit them. Yeah.
So I like that.
Have you ever done this? Like, This is the thing about, again, it doesn't have to be political, but I watch these debates or people arguing, and the person will make a legitimate point, and then the next person it's time to counter, and they start with this. Okay, you're wrong, and then that's a huge. Oh, people listening. Oh, he's wrong. You just say you're wrong, and then if they're really obnoxious, you're wrong. I'm going to tell you why, and then I'll let you respond. And then they go in. These are what I call techniques when they're arguing. I mean,
yeah.
Do you have techniques where someone will make a legitimate point? You'll say that's just simply not true.
I think I've demonstrated. I've demonstrated today a little bit of my technique, which is that I try to, with so much rage and emotion, generate this cloud of confusion where it's not quite clear what's happening, but you don't want to be involved with it. And so then I will take the person's backpedaling away. I'll then declare victory.
I see. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now here's
and then I'll shout down anything that seems reasonable. I'll go, I didn't know. Okay.
Indignation is a great technique. Yeah. I can't have this conversation. I simply can't have this conversation.
Or just one of these. I'm disgusted.
Why are we even doing this? So I don't participate because I don't want to see the guy score points and get excited. Because then I might vomit. It's like, oh, they're all excited. Look at their nostrils flaring. This is a pet peeve. Now this is a little softer. This is a pet peeve that I've let go. But when I was younger, I was really opinionated about people's behavior and their taste. And this happens to be with food. So I have an acquaintance who does not have an advanced palate. They eat at Subway Sub. And we were at a nice restaurant and we got trout and he was scraping off the sauteed cauliflower because he doesn't eat cauliflower. And I was like, oh my Lord.
This was an adult or is this a child, your friend?
This is an adult.
Oh, okay.
And I protect all my friends and acquaintances. But in my head, if I was younger, I said, you don't have an advanced palate. You're not allowed to do that. You don't have the right to do what you just did. Would it bother you if you're with a friend, a buddy, and you're at a nice restaurant and they're not eating certain things that are like, a lot of times they're going to be vegetables because some guys don't like vegetables. But would that bother you if the guys, I don't like sauteed cauliflower with garlic. He doesn't even know it has garlic in it. He doesn't even know it's sauteed. He just knows it's cauliflower. Does that bother you?
It would really bother me if it was something I like to eat. And
that's what I'm saying.
Eat it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would get annoyed because it's waste.
Yeah, it's waste.
I have kids, and of course they've trained me to just be angry every time there's a meal with what they don't eat.
But I'm not saying I'm upset about the waste. I'm upset about you don't have the right. Who do you think you are, Mr. Subway?
Are you
scraping off that?
Now, are you one of these people? I don't know would you say in this situation, the chef worked very hard on that, or would you say chef worked very hard on that? Like, when people call the chef, they just call them chef. They drop the like it's the Facebook movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like the waiter will say, chef has a special tonight. Chef thinks this is a delightful trout. Chef sends this with his compliments. Like, how would you phrase it?
I always say the chef.
Okay, that's
good.
But
so would you say anything to your friend and say, you're kind of, you don't really have an advanced palate and I think you're being immature. Would you please try it?
I would probably just make a mental note and then attack them for something else unrelated. And then maybe at some point circle back and go, as if they got back heated at me, I would go, you're so stupid. You don't even know that Jersey Mike's is better than Subway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Jersey Mike's, at least the bread's good.
I think what it is with food is, it's not quite the level of music where people are like very competitive. Like oh my God, you listen to Justin Bieber. Oh my God, you liked that band. Oh my, and they think they're special and superior. And I always find that entertaining and I never participate in that. Here's one more food thing that bothered me. I remembered it. But it was when I was a kid. And I don't know if this means anything to you, but I had a friend in high school and McDonald's was a big deal back then. And we would get, a Big Mac and fries and a shake. And this is what my friend did. And I couldn't stand it. we would sit down and he would eat all the fries first. Then he'd eat the Big Mac and then he'd finish with the shake. And I was like, no. It's so much fun to take a Big Mac bite and have a couple fries. And he goes, no. So I found that really irritating. Your thoughts?
This is a great question.
Thank you. I think it is a great question.
It's very telling. So in my mind, I guess when I have a meal, part of it I consider the food homework, which is, whether it's the vegetable or whatever. And sometimes I will try to eliminate most of that up top. But in a McDonald's meal, I don't think you have that. I think it's all treat. Did I lose you here? Oh, okay,
no,
you're still there.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I was worried you dropped away. I think it's all treat. So, but what I would try to do is I would like to end on milkshake for sure.
Well, you can have that be the last few sips of the milkshake. But along the way, you should be enjoying all three. Is my point.
I agree with you, but the final sequence would have to be bite of burger, swallow. You're clear. Fries. You're clear. Milkshake.
Absolutely,
it has to be that way.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. I mean, any meal, I'm never walking away from the dinner table without the last thing being a sip of water or wine or, liquid is the last thing. Get everything down. Yeah.
Let me ask you, if you ate a Big Mac, fries, and milkshake today, how long do you think it would take you to recover? A month?
Yeah, it's a great, I do in the last couple years. Now I haven't been to McDonald's in years. I have enjoyed the movie with Michael Keaton. I think it's called The Founder or whatever about the.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I've seen it like twice, but I haven't eaten at McDonald's. But in the past few years, because I didn't have carbs for a long time. So every once in a while, I go to Five Guys and I get a cheeseburger and the Cajun fries. And I think I did this because my brother and his daughters would do that. And so I do enjoy a hamburger. And I also, I know you don't like Father's Office, but they have the best burger in town. And I don't go as often as I used to, but I would probably not do what you just said at McDonald's. I wouldn't go there, but I do go to Five Guys every once in a while.
I was driving to San Francisco. This was probably about 15 years ago now. And I'd never had Carl's Jr. So I stopped at a Carl's Jr. I ate a burger and it was unbelievable. And then 2 hours later, I'm passing another Carl's Jr. And I just say to myself, I got to do this again.
Wow.
So I stopped, I ate a second burger. And then as I was in my car finishing it, I said, you can never do this again. And I've never been back.
Right.
I don't eat fast food burgers for that reason, because I don't think I could stop.
Oh. Well, I was going to say, when I take a road trip, I'm a little more mature now, but when I was in my 20s and 30s driving around California, I said, Craig, you're on the road, have some fun, stop at a Carl's. I think it was a Carl's Jr. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a Wendy's. I don't think I've ever eaten at Taco Bell. Shh.
Taco Bell is great.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
Okay.
It's not, they use weird stuff. But that's okay. But I did this on the road. This is simpler. You fill up with gas and you go in and you get the hot Cajun peanuts, or the spicy peanuts. Okay. Do you ever do that? Grab a bag of that. Oh,
I'll try it.
It just makes you feel alive.
But if we were doing a 5 question segment now, and then I would write you a question, as I used to write for you. And
brilliant.
The question would be best McDonald's food item. And I'll tell you what I think the right answer is. There's only one.
So time out. When I was a kid, we thought it was the hot apple pie. When we were kids at McDonald's, they had a hot apple pie. To me, it's either the Big Mac or the Quarter Pounder and cheese. Because of I think it's Thousand Island dressing, I'm going to say Big Mac. Go ahead. You have strong opinions here.
The bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Oh,
is the
okay.
only correct answer.
Yeah. That's on a biscuit, not an English muffin, correct?
It's on a biscuit.
Because you said biscuit.
Incredible.
Okay.
It's probably the best food item in America.
When was the last time you had one?
I have one maybe every 4 months. So I probably had one 3 months ago. It's about time. I'm due.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah, that's I do have food questions for you coming up. I really like that.
Good.
Okay. So, in fact, let us start now with the Life Gorgeous quiz. This is kind of a transition that's easy. This is simple questions, profound insights. And if you did watch the Russillo podcast, I asked this question. This is a new question that I enjoy. Your top 3 sandwiches. Hamburgers are not sandwiches.
Now, this isn't where I say where the sandwich is from, and that's part of it. This is just purely the sandwich in a vacuum. It's not who's making the sandwich.
Right.
Okay. Number 3, I'm going to say roast beef with cheddar.
Oh, that's very good. Now, is this is it warm or not? I always get the bread toasted. You don't care?
Yes, the bread toasted is fine. I don't like warmed beef. Like I don't like rewarmed meat.
Okay.
If it's cooked meat, first time we're cooking it, great.
Right.
After it goes in the refrigerator, I don't want it to ever be heated again.
What are the condiments on this with the cheese? Do you have mayo or do you have mustard?
I've got mustard. I've just got mustard. And maybe if a pretzel bread is around,
Okay.
Sure.
Not to influence you on your next two. I'm particular about the breads.
Okay.
And I know how great sourdough is and all that
Yes.
stuff, and it is tasty, and a baguette is tasty. I like rye and pumpernickel. That's just the way I am. Okay. And then it's healthier. It's better for you than the other ones. Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, this is tough, but
these are not,
and I'm not thinking calorically. I'm not thinking I can't eat that, No, I'm going to say number 2 is it's a tuna melt.
Now, you heard me say that the other day with Rosillo, and I love tuna melts. Do you love tuna melts?
I do. I never eat them, though, because nutritionally, it's a disaster.
Why do you say that? It's tuna.
Tuna, you get the mayonnaise in there and the cheese. It's just a lot of cloggy stuff.
Oh.
There's no vegetable. There's no fiber in it.
I thought we were just having fun. I thought we were just eating a sandwich. I didn't know we were working out. Well, I mean, if you're eating a sandwich, it's fine. I mean, you can have mayo. Mayo is one of my favorite things in the world.
A little bit of mayo is great. Any more than that is just
correct.
Awful.
You know what they do in Europe with French fries? They dip it in mayo. They don't dip it in ketchup.
Yeah. And look at where it got them.
Okay. Number 3. And what I like about this is these are the hard hitting questions. People think we're just having fun, but this is deep. This is deep stuff.
This may be a curveball. It may not be a curveball. I don't know. I'm going to go with chicken parm.
Okay. That's like the meatball sandwich, the chicken parm. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's great as a meal. I like it not on a sandwich. Might be my favorite meal. The chicken parm at Little Dom's is incredible, but you put it on a sandwich. Yeah. It's even better. It's outrageous.
You're enjoying the fried chicken parm and you're worried about a little mayo on your sandwich. That's hilarious.
Oh, I've only eaten one in my life.
One what?
Chicken parm sandwich. I'm too scared.
Oh, okay. Question.
There's so many good answers.
Right. I don't know how old you are. You're probably in your 50s or something, or 40s or something.
I'm exactly 50.
Okay, that's right. We just celebrated your birthday.
Yeah.
And I think you ended up paying, which was so silly. I don't know why that
What a great night.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to pay, and we're going to go to Vito, and we'll correct all that and make Gibby pay. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, cholesterol, statins, your view on statins. You don't have to tell me if you're on them or not, but what do you think of statins?
I have fought going on them for years because I'm just borderline, but all my other numbers are good. So I view them as the last magic bullet that I will use.
Right.
But I don't want to use them. Can I ask if you're on them or HIPAA?
Yes, you can.
I can't ask that.
You can, because Princess Cherry doesn't want me to do it. Now she's open to it. I'm not on them. I take krill oil. I take methyl guard. I take these different things that are supposed to be good for your heart healthy.
Yeah.
And my cholesterol sometimes is fine. Sometimes it's a little high.
I think because
I eat a lot of cheese, obviously. I eat cheese. I eat eggs and cheese. You know what I don't eat a lot of, although now it's kind of sad because as I get older, I'm eating more of it. For years, I didn't eat a lot of red meat. I just avoided red meat. I eat salmon. I eat chicken. I eat salmon. I like pork chops. But, Omaha Steaks send me these steaks, and they're so good. And you make them at home, and you have some garlic mashed potatoes and broccoli. But I'm not on statins, Goldie. What do you think of that?
I think that's good. I mean, I think I've done a lot of research on this. There are some dissenting voices that say just walling off cholesterol, that number being high in an otherwise healthy person who's never had a heart attack is of no significance at all.
Right. You're
because
saying
half the people who have a first heart attack,
right,
half of them have normal or low cholesterol. Half of them have high cholesterol. But if you've had a heart attack,
right,
and then your cholesterol is high, that's bad.
Yeah. And the thing that makes me laugh about statins is, I know people that are on them, they go, I can eat as much bacon as I want. They become so undisciplined. I can eat whatever I want. And so I'm picturing them having bacon every morning.
How many times have you thought you were having a heart attack ever?
Can I tell you something? Well, this is the one that comes to mind. I used to work 2 a.m. shift live. It's 2 a.m. at ESPN, Sports Center, 2 a.m., 11 o'clock live on the West Coast. And I had not started drinking coffee until I was in my 30s at ESPN because I had these weird hours. And the doctor says, you're lethargic, have coffee. So now I am in love with coffee. I don't drink coffee after 12 noon. In my head, I think it's going to keep me up at night. So I have my coffee in the morning. I was at ESPN and I was really tired. And before I went on the air, I had a little coffee. And I'm working. I'll tell you the guy's name. He's very nice to me. It was Larry Beal. And we're getting ready to go on the air. And I look at him and goes, I can't believe what's going on. My heart's just pounding. I don't know if I'm going to be okay. Before we're going to go on live on Sports Center. And Larry's like, you okay, buddy? Drink some water. He was very nice. But my heart was just going, boom, 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 boom. But that's not a heart attack. But that was pretty weird. I had coffee at like, right before 2 a.m. before I went on the air.
It is strange when you go to a nice dinner and then they say, can we get you an espresso? And it's like, I'm going to have a panic attack, crazy diarrhea, and like think I'm dying if I do that. Like, why? Who is doing that?
I know. I don't understand it.
I just ate a steak at 9 p.m. and now I want to be off the rails. Mix it with the alcohol. That's a great idea.
Did you, when you asked that question, does that mean you've had moments where you thought you were having a heart attack?
I would just say like once every 7 months, I get like a flash of pain that's so sudden that I go, ah! And then it's over.
Oh, wow.
And then I go, if this goes on, I'm dead.
Right.
Some weird thing goes through my body.
Is the flash of pain in your chest or in your whole body?
It can be anywhere sometimes.
Is it when you were talking to Henry Winkler and he was ignoring you? Okay, here's a fun one. We gotta keep it moving. The Life Gorgeous quiz. So on the spot, I didn't tell you to prepare this. I want you to think of your top two top comedy movies of all time. You're going to think of 2 comedy movies that you like, and I want to see if they're in my top 5. So I wrote down yesterday my top 5 comedy movies. Not a lot of thought, but I want to see if your top 2 are in my top 5. Go ahead.
Okay. When you said top 2, I just thought of 2. I didn't think, are these good for the podcast or these ones? Right. I just thought of 2 movies and I go, I can defend these.
Okay.
Woody Allen's Bananas.
Okay. I have Annie Hall because it's better than Bananas, but I'm kidding. But I know that I think I remember that you really like Bananas. Yeah. That was pre Annie Hall, correct?
I
think it was.
Yes, it was. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Believe 1977. The second movie that instantly popped into my head, and I think about it all the time, is the Steve Coogan movie, The Trip.
Oh, I saw clips of that with his buddy, right?
Yes, you would love it.
And did they sit around and talk? Is that where they're across from each other and they're talking about Michael Caine? Or
yes.
Is that okay.
They talk and they eat. That's the whole movie. They drive around and they talk and they eat, and they're both hilarious and do great impressions, and
right.
And they kind of dig at each other.
Right. Those are good. I mean, I knew you would do some. Yeah. So I'll just tell you the 5 that I wrote down. Tootsie. Okay. I always like Tootsie.
Oh, can I guess? Can I take a guess?
Sure.
One of them's got to be Sideways. You've got
absolutely. Sideways is right there.
Okay. So you got Tootsie, Sideways, Annie Hall.
Yeah. And then the other two are older ones. One of them, I think you'll like both of them. One, I'll give you a hint. One's a documentary or a mockumentary, as we say.
Is it Spinal Tap?
This is Spinal Tap.
Wow.
Correct?
I wouldn't think you would like that because I don't think you're a rock and roll guy.
Oh, I loved it. I loved them making fun of. It was great. I loved it. We watched that when it came out. We were going crazy over it.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'll just tell you an actor because I want to keep this movie. Gene Wilder, who I adore.
I hope it's not Young Frankenstein.
Oh, does that bother you? It is.
I don't like that movie.
Why?
I don't know. I just
Frankenstein.
I think I didn't see it till later in life, and then everyone kept saying Young Frankenstein. It's so funny. It's so funny. And by the time I saw it, I was maybe in not a great mood, and then I was just like, no, I'm going to be the guy who doesn't like this. And then once you lock in on that,
Well, I saw it when it came out and we thought it was great. And we love Gene Wilder and I like Mel Brooks, blah, blah, blah. I am now going to constructively criticize my friend Goldie. You just said maybe I wasn't in a good mood. Years ago, I asked you about the great hamburger place, Father's Office, the original one on Montana Avenue in Santa Monica. And they're very particular about their burgers. They don't have any ketchup in the facility, in the restaurant. And they have the gorgonzola and the bacon and caramelized onion compote and the arugula. And it's the best burger in town, my favorite. And you said, I don't like it. I didn't like it. And this was your reason. I had a bad date there. Okay, who cares about her? You or him? I don't know what's going on during that stage, but it's the place, man. It's the burger. So now you're letting these outside influences dictate how much you like the burger. Go ahead.
The ketchup thing is just egregious, though.
I love that.
Doesn't like ketchup.
I love that because I don't like sugar and ketchup has sugar in it. I don't eat ketchup. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's not have buns. There's no bun, guys. Sorry.
Well, I think people really screw up on the buns. Make them gluten-free and let's have a good bun. I'm sick of these big cakey buns.
You really only need one side of the bun and you could break it in two and that's your handle to eat the burger. I agree with that. There's too much bread. But it just starts to be, it's aggressive to kind of go like, we know a lot of people like ketchup, but you're an idiot.
Right. I
had a bad date there, so I can't.
Yeah, I know. Okay, next question.
With multiple guys and women.
How many miles should I walk a day? That's my big exercise. I walk through Bucolic Hancock Park. I have my AirPods on. I listen to my music. And I try to get to a certain level, but it's averaging something else. Well, how many miles to be healthy should I walk a day?
So I'm guessing you're walking around a 20-minute mile. I think it's reasonable to be out there for an hour 20. So 4 miles seems right.
I wish I could I try to do 5. I do about 2.8 or 3 miles a day. I'm about 3 miles a day. It's mainly a time thing. But then if I walk to the market, I get up over there. I did 4.7 the other day.
Do you ever pick it up? You ever just feel like the legs feel good? I'm just going to, sprint a block.
Well, yeah, I sprint, but it's 30 yards. It's not a block, but I'll start, striding. We call it striding out, getting out, filling the lane on the brake, knowing that Jordan Poole will not pass me the ball. And then I just stop. And then I stop. Okay, finally, we finish on before fan questions, we finish on another one that I've been doing for a while now. And it's just fun for me. Chocolate shake or vanilla shake?
Chocolate, there's no question.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. So I did this with Gibby. You know what Gibby said? Gibby said, I know what you're going to say. It's vanilla. You probably find chocolate barbaric. It's too overpowering. I like the nuances, the different flavors of vanilla.
I just have a glass of milk. Vanilla is no flavor.
Oh, young man, you don't understand. You're probably the kind of guy. What's the name of that hot sauce everyone puts on there?
Tabasco or Tapatio
the Sriracha, whatever.
Sriracha? I don't use that.
Yeah, I would think you would.
I use Tabasco.
I love Tabasco sauce. I love Bloody Marys. As we just randomly go all over the place.
And part of this is part of my fury over the chocolate vanilla thing. Is I've been so thrown since I used the F word earlier that I just have felt not in control this entire time.
It's funny. It's
spiraling with concern.
This is where I know I'm like an island and the weirdest guy where everyone uses the F word and I've always disliked it. And it's just funny.
You're smart to stay away. It's like meeting someone who's never had a drink. Don't even start with the F word.
Yeah,
it's not going to lead you anywhere good. Look at me.
Off the record, I sometimes enjoy mumbling under my breath with the MF word, but it's spelled F-U-G-G-A. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's good.
There's no R in the first word. It's T-H-A. It's kind of fun to mumble that. Anywho, we go quickly now. We have a few minutes left. We go to fan questions, and you're very good at analyzing my answer and then weighing in on another answer. I asked my friends to do this, and you're very, I don't know, you're good. I don't want to compliment you too much, but you're good at analyzing my answer. Here's the first fan question. Kilby, love the pod. How many nights a week do you eat out? It seems like you're out every night. Once or twice. I think because I have a martini once a week, I'm not going to really have a martini at home. So I go out once or twice a week. I do post on the Instagram story and on Instagram. You got to be careful because it's costly. You can't be irresponsible. But yeah, I do go out to eat probably twice a week. Goldie, what do you think of that?
I think that's about right. I think you want to keep it in the zone where it's still a treat. It's still special.
Right.
You know, you don't want to feel entitled every night to, some trout and cauliflower. You haven't earned that. No one has.
Not even Katzenberg.
I think that's a reasonable amount, and I think you're wise to do that. Now, when you're on vacation, I imagine those rules go out the window, though.
Yeah, I'm not really cooking in the bed and breakfast too much, Although I do like going to Whole Foods and grabbing a meal sometimes, a lunch or something. Yeah,
just to see what the working man's doing. I get that.
Exactly. Just try to stay in touch with the working man. Let's see what we have here. Hi, natural host, longtime fan. I know you love Hitchcock and Bill Evans, but you rarely talk about either on the pod. Why is that? I don't like to force that on people. I know I'm in a different category with that. I think I know my guests might not want to hear about Bill Evans or Hitchcock. They already know I like both of them. So yeah, I think it's more about trying to connect with the other person. I don't want to talk about Hitchcock and then have Goldie say, yeah, I've seen Psycho once. And then it's like, okay, this is not going well. So I don't really push that. And Bill Evans is jazz. And I know a lot of people aren't into it. So I don't even bother bringing it up. It's kind of personal. Go ahead.
I appreciate you answering my question. I submitted it randomly. So, this is like when Tori Spelling got the role in 90210, even though her dad created the whole thing, but no one knew that was her.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah. I'm a writer first. Never forget that.
Don't ever.
Listen, I think if you were talking about Bill Evans, I would just, for the first 5 minutes, go, does he mean Robert?
Right. No, I don't. What am I going to say about Bill Evans? He's a piano player. He's great. I listen to it every morning. It's relaxing, but I don't expect other people to get it. And others do. Like Alex Sulkin knows that Bill Evans is great. It's pretty simple.
He's great.
Yeah. Craigers, you have amazing skin, and I've seen questions on your Instagram asking for your skin routine. You never answer. Why not? Well, I've done jokes that I have an expensive cream that's flown in from Paris, lotion, but I just am genetically, I have nice skin. I make fun of it because I'm fair skinned. I don't do anything special. I wash my face on occasion. No, I mean, I don't scrub my face. It's fine. I put lotion on. I just happen to have baby soft skin. There. I don't have a routine, Goldie, for my skin.
I think you're not giving the complete picture, which is you keep yourself in a 64-degree room with 20-watt light 22 hours a day to preserve yourself, which is smart.
Goldie has been over to my house. He knows these things.
Yeah.
This is good. This is the final one. Kilby, how old were you when you lost your virginity? Okay.
Personal.
I know. And I don't, the answer is none of your business. I don't discuss that kind of stuff. However, I was a guest on somebody's podcast, kind of a funny guy on the East Coast recently, like last 6 months. And he phrased it. Do you remember the name of the girl, the very first girl you slept with? I think it was something like that. And so I said, I do remember. I didn't say her name, but I said, yes, I do remember her name. And then he got a little bit out of me when it happened. So I think if I was a guest on somebody's show and everyone, the sidekick is laughing, I might open up and say something. But on my podcast, it's none of your business.
I hope I'm not going to violate a confidence here, but I'll just say, when Craig lost his virginity, Liz Taylor was 54.
Boom. Boom.
Make of that what you will.
Boom. Oh, by the time this airs, Goldie,
The Lakers will have won. Let's be honest.
Will have eliminated your Warriors.
Yes.
No, I actually think so. The key, of course, is Game 6. The Lakers have to win that game. They are not winning a Game 7 in San Francisco.
It's not coming to that. It's over. I mean,
Steph scores 50 in Game 6.
It's just not enough. I think Wiggins has 18. You know, I love Draymond shooting. I hope Draymond can. If Draymond shoots, I think they have a chance. But
Jordan Poole, Game 6, 12 points, over or under?
Way under.
Okay. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. That was a blast. Thank you, sir.
That was
we'll
fun.
see you again. Okay.
Awesome.
I'm now
Can't wait.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to say goodbye to the audience now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We will see you next time. And remember, young people, I'm proud of you.